United Nations mediation. India sought resolution of the issue at the United Nations Security Council despite Sheikh Abdullah's opposition to it following the setup of the United Nations Commission for India and Pakistan. UNSIP, the United Nations Security Council, passing Resolution 47 on 21st April 1948. The measure called for an immediate ceasefire and called on the government of Pakistan to secure the withdrawal from the state of Jammu and Kashmir of tribalism and Pakistani nationals not normally resident therein who have entered the state for the purpose of fighting. It also asked government of India to reduce its force to minimum strength, after which the circumstances for holding a plebiscite should be put into efforts on the question of the accession of the state in India or Pakistan. However, it was not until 1st January 1949 that the ceasefire could be put into effect, signed by General Douglas Gracie on behalf of Pakistan and General Roy Bushra on behalf of India. However, both India and Pakistan failed to arrive at a truce agreement due to differences in our interpretation of the procedure for and the extent of demilitarization. One sticking point was whether the Azad Kashmir army was to be disbanded during the truce stage or at the plebiscite stage. The UNSIP made the 3 visits to the subcontinent between 1948 and 1949, trying to find a solution agreeable to both India and Pakistan. In report to the Security Council in August 1948 that the presence of troops of Pakistan inside Kashmir represented a material change in the situation. A two-part process was proposed for the withdrawal of forces. In the first part, Pakistan was to withdraw its forces as well as other Pakistani nationals from the state. In the second part, when the Commission shall have notified the government of India that the Pakistan withdrawal has been completed, India was to withdraw the bulk of its forces. After both the withdrawal were completed, a plebiscite would be held. The resolution was accepted by India but effectively rejected by Pakistan. The Indian government considered itself to be the under legal possession of Jammu and Kashmir by virtue of the accession of the state. The assistance given by Pakistan to the rebel forces and the Pakhtun tribes was held to be a hostile act, and the further involvement of the Pakistan army was taken to be an invasion of Indian territory. From the Indian perspective, the plebiscite was meant to confirm the accession, which was in all respect to already complete, and Pakistan could not aspire to an equal footing with the India in the contest. The Pakistan government held that the state of Jammu and Kashmir had executed a standstill agreement with the Pakistan, which precluded it from entering it into agreement with the other countries. It also held that the Maharaja had no authority left to execute accession because his people had revolted and he had to flee the capital. It believed that the Azad Kashmir movement as well as the tribal incursions were indigenous and spontaneous, and Pakistan assistance to them was not open to the criticism. In short, India required a symmetric treatment of the two countries in the withdrawal arrangement regarding Pakistan as the aggressor, whereas Pakistan insists on parity. The United Nations military tended toward the party, which was not to India's satisfaction. In the end, no withdrawal was ever carried out, India insisting that Pakistan had to withdraw first, and Pakistan contending that there was no guarantee that India would withdraw afterward. No agreement could be reached between the two countries on the process demilitarization. Cold War historian Robert J. McMahon stated that American officials increasingly blamed India for rejecting various UNSIP truce proposals under the various dubious legal technicalities just to avoid a plebiscite. McMahon added that they were right since a Muslim majority made a vote to join Pakistan, the most likely outcome, and postponing the plebiscite would survive India's interest. Scholars have commented that failure of the Security Council efforts for the mediation owed to the fact that the Council regarded the issue as a purely political dispute without investigating its legal underpinning. The declassified British paper indicated and that the Britain and the US had let their Cold War calculation influences their policy in the United Nations, disregarding the merits of the case.